right, I'm gonna call the meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Sand City,
Here.
Monterey,
Here.
Delray Oaks.
Here.
We have a quorum.
All right. Any additions to the agenda? Hi, Tammy. All right. Approval of agenda. Is there a motion to approve?
So move.
Second.
All right. We'll take it out to the public. Bring it back. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion unanimous. Public comments. Anybody in the public wish to share anything with us today? Seeing none, we'll bring it back. Go to number 6, consider approval of budget personnel committee meeting minutes from July 12th. Is there a motion?
So move.
I'll abstain, I guess.
I'll second. We'll take it out to the public. And we'll bring it back. All those in favor? Aye. Exceptions? Those. So motion passes to 1. Number 7, consider recommending approval of the addition of a full-time account payroll position. And for this one, I am going to pass it to Lyra.
Actually,
Oh.
I'm going to take this. Lyra is out, although it looks like she's online here. So I'm going to address this issue. What we're requesting of the board of the committee is that you recommend to the board approval of an additional position for the accounting department to perform payroll and general accounting functions. By way of background, we have had a rough couple of months with the accounting department. We have had the departure of the CFO, the controller, a recently hired AP clerk, and we have one longtime employee who is out half-time now for family reasons. So that's 4 out of 7 people. So we now have a temporary CFO.
Yours truly.
We have a temporary controller, temporary and part-time, by the way, for those 2 positions. And we have a number of temp agency people helping us backfill the gaps. And the gaps are pretty substantial. So things have been a challenge. We also experienced or we learned through the recent Water Resources Agency audit that we have some performance challenges in the organization, not in terms of how people are doing their job, but just us attending to the blocking and tackling of doing good reporting and being good partners with respect to having transparency and so forth. And one of the consequences of that is that the demands for being better and contributing more information to our partners as we go forward have quadrupled. I mean, we're really being asked to do a lot more work with respect to being transparent about our expenses and being accurate in our reporting. And that's all for good reason. We need to be doing that. But where we are now is we're kind of in a bit of a fragile state from an organizational standpoint. So we've lost a lot of institutional knowledge. We have a lot of kind of temporary people kind of trying to pitch in and keep things on the track, keep the train on the rails. But we need to help the organization kind of raise the game of the accounting or department. And I would say that we have, thankfully, a number of long-term people who are still with us, and they are great assets. They're working very hard. They're dedicated, but they need some leadership, and we need to kind of rebuild the institutional knowledge that we have. So the combination of all of this disruption and the fact that we are really understaffed to kind of do the basics for the organization, leads us to bring this request to the board at this point. And I would say as a an interim CFO, you know, I'm the short timer here. I would typically not make a personnel change request. I would defer that to the incoming CFO or director of finance. But it's really clear to me that there's a need here. And I think it would be a risk to the agency if we didn't proceed to do this. I don't think it will be a mistake in terms of us finding ourselves in an overstaffed situation. I think we're in for some more, you know, demands from our partners. We are certainly in for some more personnel turnover as people retire and that sort of thing. And we need to have enough resiliency in the organization to be able to continue to do the things that the agency really needs done. So
Beautiful.
open to questions.
Thank you. And I appreciate you giving some love to the team that's, you know, the longer time team that's kind of holding us together here and the temporary folks, but I appreciate management's intention around trying to make sure that we don't burn them out either. So
Yeah.
let's take questions.
Yeah, I don't have any questions. Thank you, Peter. I think this makes complete sense. This is a department that we want to make sure functions well, or the rest of us don't function very well. So,
Right.
yeah, thank you.
Here.
Yeah, and I am good with it. I was wondering, as a side note, a part of it, and I don't know if it's okay to talk about it. Have we looked at the different software? Were we going to look at software to make it a little bit easier in the finance department?
Yes, and Frank, if you
Yeah, I
want to weigh in on that
Pass
topic.
that one over.
Yeah, yeah, we're currently in the RFP process to look at our enterprise software. But even once we do procure that, it's about 2 full years away from being fully implemented. Hopefully we can find those efficiencies and help everyone do their job a little bit easier during that 2 years, but it's still a very long process to get to the finish line on that one.
Yeah, I know. It would be nice if we did get that implemented to help out and, you know, to help the employees make it a little bit
That will
easier.
be a big improvement in terms of efficiency. Because the system we have is cumbersome, to say the least.
So were you,
No, that was
Perfect.
it. Just inquiring on, I believe I know we talked about that we were gonna be going out for software, just wondering where that's at.
and,
So,
and so just feeding off of that, wondering, I'm imagining that if things become easier, more automated in the future, if there would be a need that the agency would be more than willing to look at what is not filling in a position, maybe once one becomes vacant, to kind of equalize that if there's a need in the future. Yeah, obviously there's a need and the reporting requirements are increasing. So it seems like it makes sense. So with that, we will take it out to the public. Any takers? All right, we'll bring it back to the committee and ask for a motion.
I'll move to approve recommending approval of the addition of a full-time accountant payroll position.
and I will second.
All righty. And all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Thanks again. With that, we will go, I'm messing myself up here. Thank you. With that, we'll go to item number 8, consider recommending approval to adopt resolution amending the conflict of interest code to revise the list of designated employees positions.
That one's me. And I have the next two.
Yes, here we go.
So good morning, Chair Williamson and committee members. Chaito Ibarra, Secretary to the Board here. Today, I'm asking the Budget Personnel Committee to recommend that the Board of Directors adopt a resolution amending a conflict of interest code to incorporate necessary revisions. The Political Reform Act of 1974 requires that the Board of Directors adopt a list of designated positions of officers and employees who make or participate in making decisions that could have a material effect on a personal financial interest. It also requires that the agency review its conflict of interest code every 2 years in even numbered years and determine whether or not changes are required. The last time the code was revised was in 2020. Those designated positions, also known as designated filers, are required to disclose via annual filings of Form 700, which you report personal economic information based upon various disclosure categories as set forth in the Conflict of Interest Code. Disclosure categories could vary according to the position held by the designated filers. After reviewing the Conflict of Interest Code this year, the following changes have been proposed. Job title changes, addition or removal of job classifications. In your agenda packet, you will find the proposed changes to the 2020 Conflict of Interest Code via track changes, which will then turn into the 2024 resolution. Many of the changes proposed are job title changes, such as adding executive officer to the general manager position. One other notable change is in the past, we used to have engineering staff listed as a designated filer, which would require all of the engineering staff to file a Form 700. This year, we're proposing to have only the four following positions as designated filers: Director of Engineering, Capital Projects Manager, Principal Engineer, and Associate Engineer, which are more in line with positions that participate in making decisions that could have a material effect on personal financial interest. We have also added new positions that we are currently recruiting for, such as the Controller, Assistant Director of Finance, and Director of Finance. The Monterey County Board of Supervisors is the district's code reviewing body, and once approved by the board, the revised Conflict of Interest Code will be sent to the Board of Supervisors for their approval. Happy to answer any questions.
Beautiful. Good job, Shai. Thank you.
Mhm.
Any questions?
Not really. This seems pretty straightforward. So it just sounds like, so they don't tell you the employees that need to submit. We sort of make that decision based off the idea of like, these are the people who are making big financial decisions.
And that could vary amongst different agencies, but based on our positions and the duties for those positions, we felt that those were the ones that should be filers.
Yeah. Okay. Great.
There.
And no questions or comments.
Beautiful. I'm the same. It's pretty straightforward to me. So we'll go out to the public and we'll bring it back and ask for a motion.
I will go ahead and make a motion that the Budget Personnel Committee recommend that the board adopt a resolution amending the Conflict of Interest Code to revise the list of designated employee positions.
Beautiful.
I'll second.
I love it. We'll do a roll call, please. Or no, I'm sorry. We'll do a voice vote. All those in favor? Aye.
Right?
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. And then we'll go to item number nine, consider recommending adoption of a resolution revising the records retention schedule, authorizing destruction of certain agency records and rescinding previous resolution number 2022-2031.
And that's also mine. Very exciting stuff.
We were in for a good one.
I get all the good ones.
today.
So as part of the agency's record management program, we update record retention schedules to ensure compliance with changes in law and regulations and ensure the schedules keep pace with changes in technology and best practices of other agencies. As you know, the record retention schedule is a policy that defines how long paper and electronic content must be kept and provides disposal guidelines for how those items should be discarded. The last board action to update the record retention schedules was done on August 2022 via Resolution 2022-31. The Secretary of State recommends local government agencies renew their record retention schedules minimally every 5 years and sooner if there are significant changes in record-keeping practices. In 2018, the agency secured the services of Diane Gladwell of Gladwell Governmental Consulting, a records management consultant with extensive experience in the public sector and with special districts. Ms. Gladwell has provided staff with proposed changes to the records retention schedule, which are shown in track changes on the draft 2024 resolution included in your agenda packet as attachment 1. Staff has worked with department heads to review the proposed changes and ensure the updated retention schedules meet their business needs within legal guidelines. The revised records retention schedules, which apply to paper and electronic records, reflect record-keeping changes that have occurred since the last update in 2022. Even though Ms. Gladwell has stated and recommended that it is now standard business practice for California local governments to authorize updates to the schedule without further action from the Board of Directors, we would still like to continue to bring these updates to the board for approval. But going forward, you won't see these at the committee level, rather on the consent agenda at a future board meeting.
Beautiful. Any questions?
No, thanks for staying on top of it.
Sure.
Is Miss Gladwell have we used her before in the past?
We've used her since 2018.
Okay,
Mhm.
very cool. All right, awesome. Mayor, did you have anything?
No.
All righty, we'll take it out to the public. And we'll bring it back and ask for a motion, please.
I'll move to recommend adoption of a resolution revising the records retention schedule, authorizing destruction of certain agency records and rescinding previous resolution number 2022 -31.
Beautiful.
You will second?
And we got a second and we'll do a voice vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. We will now move to item number 10. Consider recommending approval for the purchase of 4 firewalls and 37 networking switches from SHI for the corporate network refresh project and not to exceed amount of $216,989.95. And authorizing participation in Omnia Partners contract. I'm not going to say the number because it's that much.
Okay, so yeah, this is mine. This was a project that has been identified in our capital improvement plan for the IT section. So a lot of our corporate networking equipment is older and approaching end of life. I believe the firewall specifically, which is kind of what protects our organization from attacks from the internet, that support ends next year. So when that happens, we will not have any security updates or anything like that. So it's imperative that we get these done. What we decided to do is we reached out to multiple vendors to say, hey, this is the project we're looking at. Give us what your recommended solution is. So we had multiple manufacturers. So we were able to talk to manufacturers directly to see what they would recommend for our setup. Based on the pricing and the capabilities, we decided to go with the Fortinet manufacturer. We also utilize their hardware on our OT side of the house. So by adopting a single vendor, it helps us be a little bit more efficient in our support that we can provide and a little bit easier to cross train. So that if it's a problem on the OT side or IT side, we have multiple people who can jump in and help that. I mean, that's really it in a nutshell. We utilized the cooperative purchasing agreement. So we did have legal review this agreement, make sure it was good. So we went ahead. So this authorizes us to purchase these 4 firewalls and 37 switches, and to participate in this cooperative purchasing agreement.
Thanks, Frank. I think what would be cool to see if possible is maybe a presentation in regards to what your capital improvement efforts are and what that looks like for the future of the agency, just to kind of make sure that the board has a good understanding of what's going on in that space. So just something for consideration.
Yeah, certainly. And some of this we brought up next month at the board meeting in October for Cybersecurity Awareness Month. So a lot of the stuff that a lot of our big plans really relate to the security.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Appreciate what you do.
Yeah.
Any questions?
No questions. Thank you.
All right, we'll take it out to the public. And we'll bring it back and all those, oh, sorry, I need a motion. Getting ahead of myself.
Okay, I'll move that we recommend approval for the purchase of the 4 firewalls, 37 networking switches from SHI International Corp for the corporate network refresh project in the not to exceed amount of $216,938.95, authorizing participation in the Omnia Partners contract number 2018011-02 cooperative purchasing agreement.
Second?
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Well, any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. And with that, we'll go to staff reports.
So as you guys are aware, I'd like to take a moment to recognize that Director Bill Cronin, Ragsdale Cronin, passed away, and he will definitely be missed off this board. He worked for our agency for like almost 40 years. And so wanted to notate that, and I think we will be doing something for the board meeting itself. Also, we had a PG&E outage for over 8 hours, September 3rd going into the 4th. And as you guys know, all the AWPF and the SVRP and SRDF could not run. Our emergency generator actually had a fault, so we had people immediately show up. So for about 15 minutes to a half an hour, all we had was gravity fed through the plant, no treatment. And so they immediately fixed the issue, and we were back up and running. But anyway, it was touch and go there for a while, but wanted to at least say that we've got a heck of a team and to support us and get us back up and running. And even though your emergency generator should never have a problem, we are looking at possibly purchasing small generators to at least provide oxygen to keep our bugs alive, because you never want to lose your bugs. Anyway, so those are the only 2 items that I have. Do either of you or you guys have any staff reports? So that's it from us. Oh, and then I'm here representing Paul.
Doing a great job.
Oh, thank you.
Gotta say.
The other thing is we've got several people going to the reuse conference down in Southern California, and we've got Mike's a speaker, Rachel's a speaker, so we will have a great representative of our agency down at the reuse conference.
What are they speaking on?
That's a good question. Rachel?
So Mike has been participating for a while on something called CalVal, which currently every indirect portable reuse project in the state of California goes to the state and you individually get permitted. And what we started to learn, we were the 7th to come online, is that the state was having everybody do something a little bit different, and you were having to validate your systems and your log removal credits in different ways. And so as some of our consultants were talking, they realized that there may be an opportunity to standardize some at least basic treatment steps and the credit you get for having those treatment steps. Because it can be pretty pricey to conduct the studies to prove and show the efficacy of your treatment train. And we've actually gone back a couple of times since bringing the project online to gain greater credits for greater operational reliability. So if we've already done that, does somebody else need to do it in the future, or could they piggyback off of this effort? So he is working with a number of consultants to see if they can bring some standardization to the validation process for log removals, basically in your treatment train for indirect potable reuse. I am speaking on an outreach panel related to our demonstration facility. Thank you, Tyler, for joining me this past weekend as we had Stanford University on site, and just the power of having a demonstration facility as you're going through the permitting, environmental, and construction of an IPR project, but then also the power of it after as we continue to operate ours and bring tour groups in to see equipment up close and personal, which is a little bit more challenging in a full-scale facility where your main goal is making water.
Awesome. Thank you for representing both of you for representing the agency. Have a good time. And actually so we're going to transition to committee member comments and reports, and I'll just start because I want to transition to what you were speaking to just now. I want to actually thank you for the work and helping to put on the tour this weekend. And yeah, it was really great to interact with the students from Stanford and the faculty. They were like really enthusiastic as well. And they're all like engineers, mathematicians, and like they're way smarter than me. And so it was just nice for them to be like hear the questions that they wanted to ask and just be really engaged. And I did make a pitch for them to go into public service, particularly Monterey One Water. So it was a recruitment opportunity, I think, for our agency. But no, great job, Rachel. I know you do those a lot behind the scenes, and just appreciate the work that's done there to help display what we do. And then to see that you all are also going out to represent the agency at these conferences and helping to share some of the knowledge that we have as well is just a really great of advertising ourselves, but helping the entire community to thrive and be a better space. I remember one of the things that you brought up during the discussion was permitting. When the student asked the question around if you had like a magic wand and you could change anything, and the permitting thing was the thing that you brought up. So to see that there's opportunities for a deeper discussion in regards to help streamline that and make that better, it's awesome that you guys are actually doing what you want to do to make the process better. So kudos to you guys. Absolutely. All right, anybody else?
No, thank you for having me here. I'm sad to be here, but I'm happy to be Bill's replacement. So thank you.
Appreciate you being Bill's replacement. Couldn't have asked for another better person. Yes.
Thank you.
Mayor, did you have anything?
Actually, no.
Okay, well, with that, and I appreciate you recognizing Bill. So in that state, I'll go ahead and adjourn the meeting in his memory. So maybe we can just pause for a moment of silence in his memory. Alrighty, thank you, everybody.
He was a great addition on the board because he knew everything.
I know.
Yeah, seriously.
We loved it here.
Oh, was there a closed session? Oh, I apologize.
Thanks, Jim.
Was there a closed session?
No.
Oh, okay, yeah. I was like, did I miss something?
Thanks, Shai. Tyler. See you later.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.